Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy, technology, principles, applications. This is extremely highly unconventional information. Just a quick update. So in the future, this could probably be looked at as a pretty significant time and event for what I'm going to talk about here. But for us at this level of consciousness, like for 99% of us, we didn't really notice anything. We didn't notice any changes or anything, unless you go like deep into meditation, and then you might be like, "Wow, something's different." So there's this process I talked about in the last couple of videos, the whole ascension thing, starting in the seeding and all that. So the energy was basically spreading from that seeding. And so there's there's two things. There's a process called immersion and then a process called cohesion. And so if you imagine how energy might like propagate and move through an etheric type of realm, and you could say even like plasma behaves like this to some degree, but then water kind of, so it's like a combination of like light, plasma, water, like if you imagine like all these things and how they would propagate through an etheric field. Well, the idea here is that the immersion has taken place so that the entire planet is now immersed in this energy, in the consciousness field, as the field was moving and it was like and joining and combining, there was complete cohesion has been achieved throughout the consciousness field on our planet. So what does that mean? I mean, it just basically means that now it's essentially impossible for any being on our planet to have consciousness, if you will, to be in a state of consciousness without being inside of the field that is now on the planet. So it has completely filled the field of consciousness. Now, it hasn't ramped up, so we have barely, the shift is so subtle, you wouldn't even notice it unless you were really tuned in. And then you'd be like, wow, I feel something like different has happened. Something has happened in my consciousness or in the consciousness field that's different. From my own experience, this, which is super wackadoodle, I totally admit it. But it's the idea that this field, the consciousness field now, it has like more flexibility, if you will. It has like a little bit of like it has more expansiveness to it. And so you can imagine now in that field, it's easier to move your consciousness around the planet or to combine with other consciousness. And that's really kind of the goal ultimately, is this is going to be a global consciousness type of unifying field. And so that we are moving in that direction. But now as the resonance increases, the pulse rate increases, the magnetic activity changes, the consciousness field starts to up level. Now the whole thing will basically happen at once. And so you've got this like graph. It's going to go like up and then down and then up a little higher and then down and then up a little higher and then down. It's kind of like waves. Like if you've ever, if you know what I mean, like if you're at the ocean and you see like wave patterns coming in. So it's going to like go up and down in waves and then keep getting higher and higher and higher, starting like pretty soon, like immediately. So this is a good thing, and there's really nothing we need to do at this point other than just kind of maybe explore the field if you want to in meditation, and just explore the energy. And so it's a pretty cool thing. So now it can really move forward like in full consciousness. So no matter what somebody does, they are inside of the field now. We've had complete immersion and cohesion has been achieved, which is kind of a big deal from an etheric perspective or a higher realm perspective. And I think that's important. And we'll notice things as we get up like into the 10, 20, 30% marks. It will impact people. You'll notice immediately if you do this, if you try this, if you do like Merkaba meditations or you do any type of like heart-centered meditation. I have a couple on the channel in there somewhere in the playlists. But then you also, if you do like the heart holographic projection meditation, stuff like that, this consciousness field is very synced up with that type of energy. It's very much tuned into the heart center, which is really what we want. And so you can now, the percentage is so low right now, it's not like it's going to really impact you at all, and we can barely, most of us can barely even notice anything's even happened. But that's not the point. The point is that we now have the framework and the foundation to move forward. They will move forward, and it will keep going up and up and up. And you'll see, like, it'll get to this point where, like, especially as we get into the 20 and 30% levels, that people, when they let their guard down, they're going to notice all of a sudden they kind of get this like weird overwhelming feeling of like love in them or something, or some peace, like the kumbaya type of emotions. And for most of us who have been either, super hurt by love or burned by love or whatever, it's this type of thing where people will react immediately to that and be like, what the hell's wrong with me? And they'll try to fight that new nice feeling with like anger or resistance or closing off their energy, because they've been so hurt and burned by love. The last thing they want to do is open their heart, basically. But then they'll realize as it keeps coming that this isn't going to go away, you guys. So it's going to keep moving forward and moving forward, and it's going to get more and more intense, and it's going to become harder and harder to resist the process. And so it'll be interesting. Like at first, yeah, people are going to try really hard to resist this. A lot of us will. And because if we're not willing to open our hearts and like really feel that universal love and that whole global connection thing, we're going to fight it. And a lot of people will. Of course, it's natural. That's perfectly natural. But it's going to keep coming back, and then people will start to go, wow, they're going to start letting go. They'll get used to it. It'll be like this kind of evolutionary, quick evolutionary process, all things considered. This is all going to happen very fast. I mean, on the big scale of things, something that would take us, good Lord, dozens, hundreds of lifetimes to complete is going to be done in literally a few years. And so it's kind of a fun time to be around. But I would say just enjoy the process. Please send in any questions and comments that you have. There's really nothing to do at this point. It's all on the books now. The foundation is set, it's moving forward, and it's impossible to be outside of this field at this point. And it's just going to expand and further, and then eventually it'll encompass, every planet in the solar system, blah, blah, blah. But at this point, though, Earth is fully in immersion and cohesion, and so we are good to go. And I'll talk to you soon.